Hi, what a great opportunity for me to read your toes. And before we get started, I felt inspired to pull a card for you. I'm using the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. This is one of my favorite decks. I just got it a few weeks ago and I'm loving it so much. And the card that I drew for you, your animal totem for this part of your journey, and the energetic influence for this reading is the tiger. Okay, the tiger. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. I am bold. I am brave. Mighty forces come to my aid. So, uh, this is so you. I'm just going to set this card right here for the rest of the reading. And I'm going to read here from the guidebook, which I think is excellent. So, the tiger is about strength, will, stealth, invisibility, passion, yin yang balance, fluid movement, fiery devotion, solitary ambition, fierce and determined. If you have tiger as totem, know that you are accompanied by a fierce guardian. Solitary lords of the jungle, they are symbols for royalty, dominance, and passion. They are born helpless and blind, and later develop heightened senses and inner sight to survive. Tiger people are naturally clairvoyant. They are aware of many unseen things and can sense the extraordinary opportunities around them. When you meet a tiger person, expect them to stare through to your deepest soul. Tiger people need time alone to regenerate their tremendous energy. If tiger is your totem, you need a lot of solitude. You are afraid of nothing, and your determination is astounding. And I want to just change something. When it says you are afraid of nothing, what that means is that you look your fears in the face and you move forward in spite of your fears, allowing these to become actually your strengths. Do not exhaust yourself sprinting through life. It may be better for you to stalk your dreams steadily to conserve your power. Tiger medicine helps you balance your dark and light stripes, your yin and yang, your time in the world and your time alone, your fierceness and gentleness, and your aggression and peace. Call upon Tiger to teach you to move tirelessly and steadily through life. Adventure, beauty, grace, passion, and power are all natural to the one who has Tiger as totem. And this ties in so beautifully with how I know that you are and in with your toes and your astrological chart. So let's start by the most major messages that your toes are sharing. So your right foot is how we are in the world. So as it has to do with our tiger, this is the time that you spend in the world, how people receive you, how you're moving through the world. And your left foot is your internal self. It is your solitary time. It is your spirit path and your connection with source. So when I look at your toes, there's two very outstanding features in your toes, and it has to do with this leadership toe, which you show on both feet. So you are okay standing alone. You are okay standing for what you believe is the moral way to be, and you are okay thinking differently. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not afraid of rejection. That's a basic human fear. And yet you can take your principles or your beliefs or your stands and stand in them. So that's the light side when we use it for the good of humanity. The shadow side of that is if you adhere to these principles and beliefs at the expense of others. So just something to keep in check for yourself. Are you holding so rigid to something that you will not look and see what else is out there and around you? And this ties in fact, let's just jump over right now to your Virgo sun in your chart. So you've got your sun here in Virgo, you've got your Mars here in Virgo, and you have your Jupiter here in Virgo. So this is all so amazingly lovely. All this beautiful Virgo energy in the action that you take. So going back to the tiger, you're driven, you're moving forward right here. I mean, like both at 23 degrees, like right on top of each other. So your taking action is a huge part of your identity, and taking action that aligns with you, taking action that aligns with your needs. Your moon represents your needs. And then you've got Jupiter here that's, within 5 degrees, also in Virgo. And Jupiter is the expander. Jupiter makes things bigger. So this is all really highlighted with your Virgo. Your Mercury is also in Virgo. And this is the way that you're communicating, the way that you are expressing to people. And so you can come across as being, even though Virgo is an earth sign, that determined energy, that driven energy really can come across as being quite fiery. And so we see how that ties in here, and we're going to keep talking about this. You are so incredibly intuitive. Go with your gut instincts. You have a strong sixth sense. Go with that. It will not lead you astray. If you feel something out of alignment with your sixth sense, dig into it and find out why, or go the other way. Make sure you don't overanalyze. Some of that Virgo energy can really, really lead to overanalyzation. So make sure that you're not overanalyzing things. You've got your gut instinct. You've got your intuition here. Go with that. And then don't gaslight yourself by overthinking things. All right. Okay. So the big space between your toes right here, very strong for being very independent. And then with this Libra moon that you've got here, Libra loves balance. So make sure that you're not so independent that you miss opportunities to be interdependent, to collaborate, to work with others. There's a saying that says, alone you can go fast, but together you can go far. So remember that you can go further when it's a team. And so using this leadership ability within a team. The next most prominent thing I see in your toes is that you have this webbing here, and it's more pronounced on your left foot. So the way that you are internally, it is absolutely vital for your health that your talk and expression and your actions are aligned. There's very, very tight energy between these two. And so whatever you are speaking or expressing, your actions need to follow it. And whatever your actions are doing, the way that you are communicating, expressing needs to follow it. They need to work together. If you don't, I've seen lots of times where this can manifest as disease in the body because of this out of alignment. So really looking for that. I just want to look here and see if we had anything retrograde. We did. Okay. So when you were born, we had a couple of things going retrograde. We'll talk about that in a minute. Retrogrades are about rethinking, reanalyzing, I want to say analyzing. I don't mean like overthinking it. I mean reevaluating even some things that we might have held dear to our hearts. We may want to evaluate again, reevaluate. And we'll talk about more of that when we get to your astro reading. Okay. So internally, this is absolutely vital. You must be in alignment. On your right foot, there is some webbing. It is not as pronounced as it is on the left foot. So still highly important here. And They can be slightly more independent, and yet what I'm seeing here in this second toe is some blocked energy. So there are some things that it would align you to express and to speak. And I invite you to gently massage that second toe on the right foot so that you can release that energy so that it can move through you. Yes. I'm just going to check something really, really quick here. Okay. I got distracted for a minute by something that I was thinking about. And it has to do with your toes and this communication. You are with Mercury here in your 11th house. So your 11th house is about the collective. The 11th house is about revolution, evolution. It's time for you to evolve some aspects of your being, specifically in how this presents to the outside world. So here's some questions to ask yourself. Where do you suck it up because you're the strong one? It's easier to just put up with it than to address it, than to speak it. This is hurting you. You've got blocked energy here. Okay. What relationships are you not being totally in integrity in? This is hurting you. Okay. And when I say not in integrity in, it just means that there are either some things that you need to say, express, or otherwise move through your system. So one of the things that I would recommend is right here on your throat. Just move your hands like this, as if you're trying to open something up here. Yes, that is going to be very good for you. I can feel your heart chakra or your throat chakra. It does feel somewhat blocked. And then again on the back of your neck. Please remember that the chakra isn't sitting here on the front of your body. The chakra is inside your energetic body at the center and actually radiates out. And so moving your hands and just gently massaging and opening that throat chakra, and then massaging that toe and just asking yourself questions about what is important for you to communicate. And communication for you could be in the form of journaling, or making a video journal, or writing about it, or writing a story or an essay about it. So that would be a good means of processing these emotions and these feelings in regards to your expression. All right. You are on path. You've been on path in your life, but if you look at your toes here, how it's starting to move or even point in both of your spirit path toe and your life path toe, it's looking here to the future. So where are you not present? As a Virgo, as an earth person, as a person who values wholeness, and with your moon in Libra, a person who values balance, the balancing of the yin yang, where are you looking to the future for this to happen? And it's not a reality right now. There's some shame that you need to release. And some of this is generational. So I would get those toes, and if this was your right foot, just gently pushing on this part of the toe right here with my left fingers, and my right fingers up here on this, and just gently inviting the energy to move in a different way. And then switch and do it on the opposite side. And the questions to ask here would be, where am I out of alignment on my life path? What is the thought, feeling, or action that would bring me into alignment in my life path? In what areas am I not being present? You love to plan for the future. You love to get all the little things in place so that you can create predictability for yourself. And that is good. But when we are obsessed with it, when we spend so much time thinking about the future, when we spend so much time trying to prevent anything from happening, then when it does, as it inevitably will, you can get out of balance. You can get out of sorts, and that can just bounce you out of alignment. So focus on being very present. The future is okay. You've already taken so many steps to work on eliminating unpredictability for your future, and then you let it go. I have a practice that I have recently started. I have this box. I call it the God box because I call my higher power God. And in this box, I put things that I have prepared for, and to the extent that I can, definitely taking that time to be solitary, taking time to rest. So I put those things in there on a piece of paper, and then I just put it in. Now I know that you are planning a big trip. I would encourage you to write on a piece of paper that trip, and then put it in an envelope or a box or a drawer or something where you are just turning it over to source. You're turning it over to God, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And you know that you are taken care of by the universe and through your own gifts and way of being in this life. Release it and let it go. It's going to be perfect for you for wherever you are in your life path. With your spirit path toe, where do you feel guilt, shame, lack of alignment, not enoughness, worthiness, overdoing in your spirit path? I know that your spirit path is very important to you, and you can see that this toe is somewhat out of alignment. It's bending towards the future. And this nail, this has been the path for a while because this is showing up in this nail. We would like to see this nail pointing more straight forwardly. You've also got some callousing going on the sides of your toes. And so where are you protecting yourself? I think this comes down to trying to plan for every single detail. If you get joy in that, by all means do it. But then again, release it and let it go. It's out of your hands at that point. And the universe, God, will take care of the rest. So as you massage that spirit path toe, asking yourself some of the same questions. Where are you out of alignment in your spirit path? Where do you feel a sense of shame? Where are you feeling not enough? And what is ready to have the light shined on it? So asking yourself those questions while you massage these toes. This spirit path toe, you've got all these planets, including 3 major planets. So the sun and the moon, which are considered planets in astrology. Okay. So these 2 are massively important. They are our biggest influencers. And Mars is a personal planet. Mars is a personal influencer as well. And then we've got Jupiter in here making everything bigger. And this is all in your 12th house. The 12th house is about transcendence. The 12th house is about mental health. The 12th house is about, there's a karmic aspect to the 12th house. And all of these little planets that are showing up here in your 12th house are like suitcases that your contract for this lifetime is to unpack these suitcases. So let's start from the top here with your Mars. Mars in Virgo. Okay. Mars wants to move forward and take action. Mars can move without thinking. Mars is very fiery. Whereas the Virgo's like, no, let's set up the structure. Let's do this. So Virgo wants to move forward also, but Virgo is, Virgo is our, got something coming to me. Mars in Virgo for you is about Mars in Virgo in the 12th house for you is about deconstructing the attitudes that we have, that you have, and that we collectively have about taking action, about worthiness around action, compromising our health for efficiency or for productivity. That's a better way of saying it. Compromising our health for productivity. That's what's in that Mars in Virgo in the 12th house at 23 degrees. And 23 is a number of change. In numerology, 23 breaks down to the number 5. 5 is about structure on the top. If we think about how it's written, structure on the top with that right angle, and then it's on a rock or on the bottom. It's about structured change. It's about navigating with grace over changing footing. That's what Mars is about. Ask yourself, your sun and the moon, they're in the 12th house, moon in Libra, sun in Virgo. What is there to unpack around those things? How is your identity tied up into your being Virgo? How's your identity tied up in that in a way that may not be serving you? Remember, shadow Virgo is about perfection. And there's your sun and your Mars there. That's a beautiful, beautiful blending of energies. Taking action when it's time to take action, being still when it's time to be still, balancing that yin-yang energy. Okay. And then your moon in the 12th house in Libra is about balance, harmony, beauty. Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, the planet of connection, the planet of beauty. You only want relationships that are equal. If they're not equal, if there's any kind of power play, like, you won't have it. You don't want it. And your rising or your ascendant is also right here in Libra. So this equality, this balancing of the yin yang, this idea of equal partnerships is hugely important to you. It's a non-negotiable need for you. You will not ever be satisfied in any relationship that is not a relationship of equality. So this may be an opportunity, and we'll get to your relationship toes, but to just ask, where are the relationships? What are the relationships that are not equal, that I am trying to dominate, or that I feel like like someone is trying to dominate me? Where am I subjecting myself? Where am I being subservient? Those are relationships that just won't work. This is partly having to do with some of these, the ways that you're taking action and expressing in this. You're strong. You absolutely are strong. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. And yet, just because you're strong, where does that strength go? Does that strength go to enabling people to behave badly or crossing your boundaries? Or does it go to empowering yourself and empowering them to understand things in a different way. Your part of fortune, since we're here, is also here in Libra. So your part of fortune, this is where your fortune will come to you. This is where it's naturally going to fall. And also this is in the first house, which is about self. So your part of fortune is right there in Libra. So you're a gift to the world, and the way that you will attract finances, I'm changing that word, not finances, the way that you will attract energy that can be exchanged is through equal partnerships. Yes. Okay. Let's go back to just your toes. The spirit path toe, let's get that on track. I know that spirituality is very important to you. And a lot of this has to do with expression here in the 11th house. Okay. Let's talk about these relationship toes. So these relationship toes, you can see that they're leaning into your action toes. And your action toes are absolutely connected with your communication toes. All right. So in your relationships, where are you? First of all, identify what your love language is and learn to ask to be shown love in that way. Second of all, you have said to me before that you wish you had someone in your life like you. That's the Libra, that's the balancing. There are very few people who are like you because not a lot of people have done the level of work or had the life experiences of deep transformation to the point of breaking and burning and turning to ashes like the phoenix and then rising again that you have had. So part of your purpose is to help people to rise to that. This is your moon. This is your part of fortune here in Libra. And this is part of who you are because it's here in the first house. You have had these experiences because it's made you who you are, and you have the power to change lives. And you must speak up for that and express how you want to be shown love. So what would be ideal to see is for these toes to be a little bit more independent from the actions. And I encourage you to just get these toes and just gently rub them. To be honest, your relationship toes are more aligned than about 90% of the relationship toes that are out there. These are highly karmic toes, very generational. So we bring stuff in from other generations and other lives into these toes. And so massage these toes. These toes are very important because relationships and harmony are very, very, very important for you. When we look at Scorpio, Scorpio is about them. The first house is about me. The 7th house is about you. And Scorpio here is about other people also. And the transformation that you can bring about for other people through empowering yourself. You are a natural teacher. And teaching doesn't just have to be from a podium, so to speak. Teaching is how you can interact with someone and be a teacher. And every good teacher is also an excellent student. So remember that. All right, let's move on to your little toes here. So your little toes are about trust and prosperity. And you've definitely got some blocked energy in here. So definitely massage these toes and ask, where are the blocks I have around receiving? I know you love to give. Giving is very important to you. And it is just as important to receive. In fact, we can't really give very well if we haven't received anything. So being open to receiving. Additionally, because of some of your life experiences, trust does not come easily to you. But you know who you can trust because you've got this strong intuition. So go with that. The other thing that concerns me about this toe here is if it keeps moving in this trajectory, it's going to close off this channel of intuition. So this is one of the top priorities, is to get that spirit path toe back on track. You are an earth person, and you are very grounded. These toes are the least grounded, so make sure that you take all the grounding energy and put them also into these little toes so that they can be grounded. You also have a small sixth toe here. You have an absolutely global perspective. You care deeply about humanity. In fact, sometimes you love humanity, but you don't necessarily like individuals. That's a very Aquarian way of being. And let's just have a look at your chart here and see what you have in Aquarius. Okay, in Aquarius, you have Neptune. Neptune that was retrograde. And Neptune is sitting there. Neptune can be about delusion. Neptune can be the higher octave of Venus, so about love. You are highly unique, and with that uniqueness, there can be some delusion, some rejection, and you don't like this because your moon is over here in Libra, and it wants this balance, and then you've got Neptune over here in Aquarius saying, you could be deluded. So you do have quite a bit of Aquarian energy, just with that. I think this is also interesting because you've got Uranus here in Pisces. Uranus is the disruptor, the great awakener. And in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is very spiritual. Pisces is the ruler of the 11th house. Of the 12th house. It's about transcendence. It's about moving through and transcending. It is after you've gone through the depths of transformation, it's the rising up. And with all of this in the 12th house, really leaning on that Pisces energy with Uranus domicile there in Pisces, that energy is going to help you to unpack these things that are in your 12th house. I think a lot of that Aquarian energy is from Mercury, which is the fastest moving planet, which is a very strong personal planet for us. And he's in Virgo, but in the 11th house, and Aquarius rules the 11th house. And so the way that you are expression, communication toes, can feel quite Aquarian. Let's just look at a couple of other things that we've got going on in here. For you, connection with your Venus here in Leo, connection is through creativity, through play, through fun. So pay attention to that. What relationships bring you fun, play, and creativity? Those may be the relationships that you want to make sure that you hang on to, that you hone, and that you continue to develop. This is an interesting thing here. You've got Saturn in the 10th house. Saturn is about structure. The 10th house is about our public life. So your gift of structure, your gift of systems, your Virgo gifts are very helpful here in your public life. So like we talked about, Libra, with this balance, Saturn is there to put structure to that balance, allow that to that energy to help you in that in your public life here. And your connections are a huge part of your public life. Your midheaven is here to Cancer. Cancer, the crab. Cancer, who is the ruler of the fourth house, which is about families, which is about safety, which is about safe spaces. This is the area where you are stretching into. You're stretching into this, making safe spaces and creating a space of structure and of safety for your relationships, so that they can be balanced, so that people can try things on. Now, Cancer also has this energy where it likes to it walks sideways, right? So it avoids confrontation. A crab isn't going to come after you. Crabs are not aggressive unless you bug them. And then the pincers come out. And so just this stretching into who belongs in your circles, who does not belong in your circles. And if they don't belong in your circles, that's okay. It just doesn't work for you. It doesn't mean you're rejecting them. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you know what works for you because you follow your intuition here and you honor that. We come down here to your Chiron, which is in Capricorn. So this can be, this is kind of your wound. And so the way that this can show up in Capricorn, your Chiron in Capricorn, could be fear of rising to the top and leaving people behind. So you hold yourself back. It could be also, the shadow side of that could be rising to the top and stepping on people and not caring. So beware of that with this first toe that is so highly independent. There's a balance here in Libra. There's a balance between rising and helping people rise with you versus rising and trying to pull people along with you or keeping yourself down. Think about Capricorn, going up the mountain, going up the mountain. And we don't want to pull people along with us. We don't want to drag people against their will. We don't want to be anchored to people who don't want to move as fast as we do. And we can move forward and be that beacon on the hill, literally the beacon on the hill. And making sure that we are not doing it out of spite or because we can or because we feel better than in some way. Big toe here, all standing independent. And then, of course, the shadow side could be keeping yourself small because you don't want to rock the boat, because you don't want to create what you perceive to be a relationship of inequality. Let's just talk about your North Node over here in Taurus. Your North Node is the place that we are being asked to stretch into. And right now, the North Node currently is in Taurus. And so you're being asked to identify what are your values? What are the things that you value the most? So I do a teaching that I call the decisions funnel. And in this decisions funnel, we have our values at the top. Then I call them treasures, but commonly it's called your values. And then we have your priorities, and then we have your actions and your decisions. And if we skip our values and go to the priorities, things are going to get clogged up. We will become resentful. And when we're resentful, that shows up in all the things. So making sure that you're honoring your values and really getting clear about what those are. A good exercise for you to do would be to identify your top 5 values. And I have an exercise I can share with you for that if you're interested in it. You've actually done it before. So maybe going through and doing that again and identifying those values so that when all this information that's comes in, it can go through the values. And then based on what your values are, then it can go to the priorities. Because oftentimes those priorities, they're not even our priorities. They're someone else's priorities. So especially right now, you've got with the lunar eclipse coming up in just a couple of days. The lunar eclipse moon is in Taurus. And so it is right here, snuggling up to your natal north node. It's a really good opportunity for you to use that energy to redefine, reevaluate, especially because you're retrograde here, and rethink your values, and then moving from that space. That would be another great question to ask as you are massaging these toes is, what are my values? And how can I show that up in my values, in my relationships? So top things to do here, gently invite the energy to move in these big toes. Massage, especially the second communication toe, to release that energy. Massaging these relationship toes to release anything in there that is not yours, that's generational, that you just brought into this life, and to move it away from leaning on the action so that you can be who you are. In fact, my guess is that as you do that with this left toe, this toe here is just automatically is going to start to move more into that straight alignment and stop its progression of cutting off your intuition. And then these small toes, your 5th toe, your prosperity trust toes, massaging those so that you can be more grounded in your worthiness and attract to you greater levels of prosperity, and really knowing who you can trust as you reevaluate your relationships. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will send this to you, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you about anything from this reading. Thank you.